Hello everybody, my name is Oren, and this is our EU4 Denmark playthrough bonus video where I'm going to read my entire history of my nation. I'm going to do this in one take. I have a very, very full glass of water next to me. If I run out, I'm just gonna leave mid-video and go get some more, because I ain't editing this. This is fucking, no one's watching this shit. I will be the only one who watches this. Little bit of preface. I read good, I think. I read good. I read good in school because I read a lot of books, and I read good now because I read Wikipedia articles and TVT tropes pages and Reddit and everything. And I think I talk okay as well. I know my voice is a bit dull and I don't get that excited, but I think I can, I lose my train of thought a lot, but I think I talk good. I know it's fuck. Right, I'm not that dumb, but still. I cannot read read something out loud for shit. It just doesn't happen. But, fuck it. Here we go. Eric the 7th, 17th of June, 1937 to the 9th of April, 1440. During his reign, the provinces of Gotland were gained. Didn't do a lot. Christopher III, 9th of April 1440 to the 6th of March 1475. The brutal conquest of Osel ended after 1 year, resulting in conquest. King Christopher III was involved in the brief Danish conquest of Kurland, and our armies were triumphant. What decided the war was the Battle of Riga, with 12,000 Danish fought the 6,000 men strong Livonian army, led by H. Vinci, who suffered some losses. The brief English reconquest of Cornwall ended after 1 year, resulting in status quo. The war was practically decided when Richard Neville fought David Methenic in the Battle of Cornwall. 11,000 English soldiers were lost almost unscathed, while fighting the 3,000 Cornish soldiers lost most of their forces. Were almost unscathed while fighting... Yeah, alright, that's fine. King Christopher III was involved in the epic English conquest of Ulster, and our armies were competent. Historians talk about how the Swedish fought Breton in the Battle of Moribond, led by the Swedish Sten Sture Eriksson, lost most of their forces fighting the 6,000 men strong Breton army, led by Jan de Saint Meluc, who suffered some losses. Christopher III decided to pass the Liquor Act. The reign of Christopher III saw the provinces of Osel, Riga, Kurland, and Semigalia gained. Christian I, 6th March 1475 to 7th February, that's my birthday, 1516. The successful Danish conquest of Reval lasted for 1 year. What decided the war was the Battle of Livland, where 12,000 Danish fought 5,000 Livonians, led by Thomas Grotlus, who lost most of their forces. King Christian I took part in the short English conquest of Munster, and our armies were competent. An important event of the war was the Battle of Languedoc, where the Norwegian forces, led by Salmon Narsen, attacked Serge du Pescin and his French forces. The 5,000 men-strong Norwegian army lost most of their forces, and the 23,000 strong French defenders were almost unscathed. The bloody Navarran conquest of Laborde ended after 4 years, resulting in status quo. The unsuccessful Munster reconquest of Bremen lasted 1 year. An important event of the war was the Battle of Hamburg, where Swedish forces led by Sten Sture Eriksson attacked Barnabas Heckel and his Hanseatic forces. The 17,000 men strong Swedish army were almost unscathed, and the 8,000 Hanseatic defenders lost most of their forces. The brief second Munster conquest... I'm gonna take my fucking headphones on. This shit is getting intense. Brief second Munster conquest of Friesland ended after 1 year, resulting in status quo. The most decisive battle of the war was when 2,000 men, led by the Munster Isaac Kuhn, lost most of their forces attacking 4,000 man strong Frisian army, led by Taldo Albertsman, who were almost unscathed. King Christian I struggled in the epic Danish war for the Pomeranian throne, and our armies were competent. The war practically decided when Ulrich Troll fought against Otto IV Griff in the Battle of Stettin. 14,000 Danish soldiers were almost unscathed while fighting the 1,000 Pomeranian soldiers, while they lost most of their forces. The short Münster-Hessian punitive war ended after 1 year, resulting in status quo. When deciding the war was the Battle of Hamburg, in which 14,000 Danish fought 6,000 men strong Hanseatic army, led by Barnabas Heckenel, who lost most of their forces. King Christian I campaigned in the epic English reconquest of Normandy, and our armies were competent. The most decisive battle of the war was the 37,000 men led by Castilian Lope Galvez, who were almost unscathed, attacking the 15,000 men strong French army led by Maurice de Rochemere, who lost most of their forces. Christian I decided to formalize scales, weights, and measures. Christian I, against better judgment, decided to pass an act of uniformity. During his reign, the provinces of Stockholm, Östergötland, Småland, Bergslagen, Värmland, Västergötland, Dalaskogen, Hälsingland, Jämtland, Västerbotten, Sveaskog, Bohuslän, Agerslius, Lapland, Österbotten, Trøndelag, Helgeland, Edisliva, Bergen-Søs, Agder, Finland, Nyland, Tavatsland, Viborg, Savolax, Reval, Lothian, Ayrshire, Fife, Aberdeen, Highlands, Western Isles, Finnmark, Orkney, Reykjavik, Akureyri, Holstein, Narva, Åland, the Shetlands, Bjørnøya, and Njark were gained. Frederick I, 7th of February 1516 to the 29th of September 1526. King Frederick I fought in the epic Holy Roman Reclamation of Verona, and our armies were competent. The war was practically decided when France... I can't believe I'm doing this. This is awesome, by the way. I'm fucking jazzed. And everyone has already tuned out. The war was practically decided when Franz I Stefan von Habsburg fought Lorenzo Bardolino in the Battle of Lica. 18,000 Austrian soldiers were almost unscathed, while fighting 5,000 Venetian soldiers lost most of their forces. The long Third Anhaltian-Brandenburgian punitive war ended after 0 years, resulting in status quo. The most decisive battle of the war was when 13,000 men led by Hanseatic Kurt Horgway lost most of their forces, attacking 15,000 men strong Danish army, who were almost unscathed. King Frederick I participated in the brief Scandinavian conquest of Livland, and our armies were successful. An important event of the war was the Battle of Livland, where Scandinavian forces led by Christopher Lilienskjold attacked Leonas Wisniewicz and his Lithuanian forces. The 15,000 men strong Scandinavian army were almost unscathed, and the 5,000 man Lithuanian defenders lost most of their forces. The unsuccessful Scandinavian conquest of Northumberland lasted for 1 year. An important event of the war was the Battle of Kent, where the Scandinavian forces led by Carl Johan God? Is he Dutch? God? I guess it's just God. Attacked Edgar I and his English forces. The 37,000 men strong Scandinavian army were almost unscathed, and 20,000 English defenders lost most of their forces. On the 20th of March, 1,500 of the faithful of Ozil spurned the path of righteousness and converted to Protestant. On the 8th of November 1521, the faithful of Dalaskogen spurned the path of the righteous and converted to Reformed. On the 1st of January 1522, the faithful of Stockholm spurned the path of the righteous and converted to Reformed. On the 6th of January 1525, the faithful of Bergskaland spurned the path of the righteous and converted to the Reformed. Alright, this continues for some time. 20th of March 1526, Savolax did the same. Frederick I wisely made the decision to pass the Declaration of Indulgence Act. Frederick I wisely did pass Suffragan Bishop Act. Frederick I followed the advice of the court and formed Scandinavian nation. The reign of Frederick I saw the provinces of Livland, Hamburg, and Lauenburg gained. I'm going to take a drink. Bloody hell. Regency Council, the 29th of September, 1526 to the 16th of June, 1538. Scandinavia was assailed in the French conquest of Poitou. An important event of the war was the Battle of Limburg, where the French forces led by Charles IX attacked Gerhard von Peglaus and his Austrian forces. The 56,000 men strong French army was almost unscathed, and the 37,000 Austrian defenders suffered some losses. On the 1st of April, 1,500 of the faithful of Lolland spurned the path of the righteous and converted to Reform. On the 13th of October, 1528, the faithful of Kurland spurned the path of the righteous and converted to Reform. On the 12th of May, 1530, the infidels of Eriksfjord embraced the one true faith. On the 2nd of November, 1530, the faithful of Nordjylland spurned the path of the righteous and converted to Reform. This continues for some time. On the 4th of May, the infidels of Vetsbygitten embraced the one true faith. Regency Council followed the advice of the court and passed Anti-Piracy Act. During his reign, the provinces Eriksfjord and Vestbygden were gained. Frederick I, 16th of June, 1538 to the 1st of July, 1567. The short French conquest of Poitou ended after 6 years, resulting in defeat. This war was practically decided when Charles IX brought Gerhard von Peglaus in the Battle of Limburg. 56,000 French soldiers were unscathed, while fighting 37,000 Austrian soldiers suffered some losses. King Frederick I took part in minor Ansbachian conquest of Alas, where our armies were competent. Historians talk about how the Ansbachians fought Austrians in the Battle of Alas, led by Ansbachian Wilhelm Friedrich I von Hohenzollern, lost most of their forces fighting the 22,000 men strong Austrian army, led by Franz Mittelbach, who were almost unscathed. The brief Scandinavian reconquest of Hamburg ended after 1 year, resulting in victory. The most decisive battle of the war was when 24,000 men, led by Scandinavian Adolf Arenstorff, were almost unscathed, attacking the 10,000 men strong Hanseatic army, led by Alexander Lieb, who suffered some losses. King Frederick I fought in the brief Dutch War for Independence, and our armies were competent. The war was practically decided when Antonius I von Habsburg fought Heinrich von Hollenberg in the Battle of Brabant. 15,000 Dutch soldiers lost most of their forces, while fighting the 50,000 Austrian soldiers were almost unscathed. On the 20th of February 1540, the infidels of Labrador embraced the one true faith. Infidels, spurned the path of the righteous, etc. Frederick I wisely made the decision to colonial expansion. The reign of Frederick I saw the provinces of Lubeck, Lüneburg, Labrador, Ungava, Nunavik, Cree, Moose Cree, Attawapiskat, Swampy Cree, and Chipewyan gained. Margarita I, 1st of July, 1567 to the 18th of September, 1603. The long Scandinavian conquest of Shawnee ended after 2 years, resulting in status quo. The war was practically decided when Lars Hoe fought Wei Parsinwa Sewickley in the Battle of Appalachia. 5,000 Scandinavian soldiers were almost unscathed, while fighting the 10,000 Shawnee soldiers who lost most of their forces. The successful Scandinavian conquest of Aztec lasted 2 years. The war was practically decided when Lars Hoe fought Tehu Stiquitzian I Akamapahichtli in the Battle of Campeche. 8,000 Scandinavian soldiers were almost unscathed, while fighting 11,000 Aztec soldiers lost most of their forces. The brutal Scandinavian conquest of Iroquois ended after 1 year, resulting in status quo. The most decisive battle of the war was when 5,000 men, led by Scandinavian Lars Hoa, suffered some losses attacking 17,000 men strong Iroquois army, led by the White Wolf Saratoga, who lost most of their forces. The triumphant Second Scandinavian conquest of Aztec lasted for 2 years. What decided the war was the Battle of Yucatan, when 8,000 Scandinavians fought the 11,000 strong Aztec army, led by Izcotl Acapechitli, who lost most of their forces. Queen Margarita I participated in the minor Tyrone reconquest of Connaught, and her armies were competent. An important event of the war was the Battle of London, where Scandinavian forces led by Gustav Piper attacked Samuel Marlborough and his English forces. 16,000 men strong Scandinavian army were almost unscathed, and the 19,000 English defenders lost most of their forces. The bloody Third Scandinavian conquest of Aztec ended after 2 years, resulting in success. What decided the war was the Battle of Patan, when 8,000 Scandinavians fought the 13,000 men strong Aztec army, led by Tihu Stiquitzinten Acapechitli, who suffered some losses. The unsuccessful Austrian purge of Bohemian heresy lasted for 2 years. An important event of the war was the Battle of Wittenberg, where Austrian forces led by Karl I Joseph attacked Ottokar I Podisbrad and his Bohemian forces. The 62,000 men strong Austrian army were almost unscathed, and the 4,000 Bohemian defenders lost most of their forces. The bloody Scandinavian crusade against the Aztecs ended after 1 year, resulting in success. What decided the war was the Battle of Zacatecas, where 8,000 Scandinavians fought 4,000 men strong Aztec army, led by Ohimal Popaca I, who lost most of their forces. On the 15th of August, 1569, the infidels of... I gotta get a drink. Whew. Halfway there, almost. Oh god. Damn. Most of their forces, August 15th, 1569, the infidels of Dallas Kogan embraced the one true faith. On the 23rd of December, 1569, the infidels of Woodcree embraced the one true faith, etc., etc., etc. Margarita I followed the advice of her court and implemented the gold standard. During her reign, the provinces of Glamorgan, Gwynedd, Northumberland, Guatemala, Patan, Belize, Zapotec, Campeche, Yucatan, Mixtec, Tohocapan, Tlapanec, Tlaxcla, Taraxco, Mexico, Huastec, Sayuzlestec, Huicol, Zacatecas, Guaichil, Tamaulipas, Tepehuan, Coahuila, Karankawa, Minnesota, Mandan, Chippewa, Menominee, Sauk, Salt, Atibidi, Ojibwa, Winnipeg, Atikokan, Manitoba, and Woods Cree were gained. Karl I, 18th of September, 1603 to the 13th of May, 1608. The bloody Fourth Ulmer reconquest of Ansbach ended after 1 year, resulting in status quo. The most decisive battle of the war was when 25,000 men led by French Jacques I suffered some losses attacking 100,000 men strong Wurzburgian army led by George II, who were almost unscathed. On the 23rd of October, 1604, the infidels of Slebesieg and infidels and righteous faith, whatever, we're not reading that. That's too much. Karl I followed the advice of the court and passed the Merchant Shipping Act. The reign of Karl I saw the provinces of Sinaloa, Mescalero, and Lipan gained. Regency Council, the 13th of May 1608 to the 10th of December 1621. On the 3rd of March 1610, the infidels of Mexico embraced the One True Faith. This is all One True Faith stuff. During his reign, the provinces of Suma, Concho, Piro, and Hawaii were gained. Karl II, the 10th of December 1621 to the 10th of May 1666. The brutal Scandinavian-French colonial war ended after 4 years, resulting in status quo. The most decisive battle was when 134,000 men, led by the Scandinavian Leopold VIII von Habsburg, suffered some losses attacking 90,000 men strong Bavarian army, led by Philip Anzenborg, who suffered some losses. King Karl II struggled in the bloody war of Scandinavian aggression, and our armies were successful. Historians talk about how the Scandinavians fought the Byzantines at the Battle of Crete, led by the Scandinavian Johann Arenstorff, were almost unscathed, fighting the 7,000 men strong Byzantine army led by Michael Apoikos, who suffered some losses. The short Second War of Scandinavian aggression ended after 3 years, resulting in conquest. What decided the war was the Battle of Mutsu, where 20,000 Scandinavians fought 4,000 men strong Japanese army led by Nahigito Keira, who lost most of their forces. King Karl II struggled in the epic Scandinavian crusade against Japan, and our armies were victorious. Historians talk about how the Scandinavians fought the Japanese in the Battle of Muhashi, led by the Scandinavian Johann Arenstorff, suffered some losses fighting the 20,000 men strong Japanese army led by Yoshimune Satomen, who suffered some losses. The successful Scandinavian conquest of Meath lasted for 3 years. The war was practically decided when Hakon Kvitskjerd fought Mukada first in the Battle of Ulster. 15,000 Scandinavian soldiers suffered some losses, while they fought the 14,000 Irish soldiers suffered some losses. King Karl II fought in the short Dutch reconquest of Gelre, and our armies were competent. The most decisive battle was when 60,000 men led by Dutch Johann George I von Hohenzollern suffered some losses attacking the 60,000 men strong Hanoverian army led by Frederick I Ludwig von Holstein, who suffered some losses. The victorious Scandinavian conquest of Saba lasted for 5 years. What decided the war was the Battle of Cutie, when 20,000 Scandinavians fought the 16,000 strong men strong Bruneian army led by Saif ad-Din I Bolkiah, who suffered some losses. The brief Scandinavian purge of Irish heresy ended after 1 year, resulting in status quo. An important event of the war was the Battle of Leinster, where Scandinavian forces led by Vladimir de la Gardie attacked Mukada first and his Irish forces. 28,000 men strong Scandinavian army were almost unscathed, and the 12,000 Irish defenders lost most of their forces. On the 15th of June, 1623, the infidels of Midway embraced the One True Faith. Infidels. Karl II followed the advice of the court and founded the Indian Trade Company. During his reign, the provinces of Mecklenburg, Vorpommern, Hintenporman, Cox, Normandy, Cyprus, Meath, Leinster, Sabah, Sukhodain, Visayas, Palawa, Taiwan, Yaqui, Koshimi, Garikura, Apache, Pueblo, Ishigo, Dewa, Mutsu, Hitachi, Guam, Kazuke, Shiribeshi, Stettin, Marshall Islands, Wake Island, and Midway were gained. Christian II, 10th of May, 1666 to the 12th of February, 1677. The unsuccessful Savoyard conquest of Romagna lasted for 4 years. Historians talk about how the Savoyard fought the Scandinavian in the Battle of Moldavia, led by the Savoyard Carlo Emmanuel II, suffered some losses fighting the 112,000 men-strong Scandinavian army, led by Philip von Eering, who suffered some losses. Scandinavia was assaulted in the Scandinavian conquest of Kai. Historians talk about how the Scandinavians fought the Japanese in the Battle of Owari, led by the Scandinavian Nils Holstein, suffered some losses fighting the 23,000 men-strong Japanese army, led by Morihito Kaiugoku, who suffered some losses. On the 30th of July, 1666, the infidels of Mutsu embraced the one true faith, etc. Christian II decided to establish Sunday schools. The reign of Christian II saw the provinces of Dakota, Paraderme, and Tokachi gained. Christian III, 12th of February 1677 to the 18th of January 1699. The triumphant Scandinavian conquest of Kai lasted for 5 years. The most decisive battle of the war was when 11,000 men led by the Scandinavian Nils Holstein suffered some losses attacking the 23,000 men-strong Japanese army led by Morihito Kyogoku, who suffered some losses. The minor Scandinavian conquest of Yorkshire ended after 2 years, resulting in victory. An important event of the war was the Battle of Yorkshire, where the Scandinavian forces led by Heinrich Lejonhufvud attacked Lawrence, Northumberland, and his English forces. The 61,000 men-strong Scandinavian army suffered some losses, and the 45,000 English defenders suffered some losses. The unsuccessful Second Kassian conquest of Novgorod lasted for 5 years. The most decisive battle of the war was when 55,000 men led by Kazani Sikaya Ali Alwire I Ak Kuanlu suffered some losses attacking the 35,000 men strong Austrian army led by Matthias I, who suffered some losses. Scandinavia was assaulted with the Neapolitan conquest of Romagna. The war was practically decided when Adriano Pico fought Gottfried Bielke in the Battle of Romagna. The 31,000 Neapolitan soldiers suffered some losses, fighting the 47,000 Scandinavian soldiers suffered some losses. In the year 1697, we were shockingly assaulted. Historians talk about how the French fought the Savoyard in the Battle of Brabant, led by the French Jacques II von Hessen, suffered some losses fighting the 81,000 men-strong Savoyard army, led by Jonas de Apania de Aragonia, who suffered some losses. Christian III was shockingly backstabbed in the Dutch-English colonial wars. The most decisive battle of the war was when 135,000 men, led by the Lorrainian Charles VI, suffered some losses attacking the 145,000 men-strong Austrian army, led by Matthias I, who suffered some losses. On the 28th of February, 1678, the infidels of Stettin embraced the one true faith, etc. The absolute monarchy was graciously instituted by Christian III. Christian III followed the advice of the court and passed the Blasphemy Act. Christian III, against better judgment, decided to pass the Mining Act. Christian III, against better judgment, decided to declare Statute of Monopolies. The reign of Christian III saw the provinces of Lancashire, Jorvik, Cumbria, Ulster, Munster, Connacht, Omaha, Muashi, Kai, the Kurils, and Awa gained. Karl III, 18th of January, 1699 to the 23rd of December, 1743. I need to take a drink. 3/4 of the way there. Holy shit. This is awesome. This is a good idea. The unsuccessful Neapolitan conquest of Romagna lasted for 4 years. Historians talk about how the Neapolitan fought the Scandinavians in the Battle of Romagna. Led by the Neapolitan Adriano Pico, suffered some losses fighting 47,000 men-strong Scandinavian army led by Gottfried Bielke, who suffered some losses. King Karl III participated in the long Japanese-Scandinavian punitive war, and our armies were victorious. An important event of the war was the Battle of Brabant, where the French forces, led by Jacques II von Hessen, attacked Jonas Diepat d'Aragonia and his Savoyard forces. The 44,000 men strong French army suffered some losses, and the 81,000 Savoyard defenders suffered some losses. The unsuccessful Dutch-English colonial war lasted for 7 years. Historians talk about how the Lorrainians fought the Austrians in the Battle of Ansbach, led by the Lorrainian Charles VI, suffered some losses fighting the 145,000 men strong Austrian army led by Matthias I, who suffered some losses. The brutal Scandinavian conquest of Suruga ended after 4 years, resulting in conquest. What decided the war was the Battle of Hitachi, where 10,000 Scandinavians fought the 10,000 Japanese, led by Karihito I, who suffered some losses. King Karl III battled in the minor Scandinavian conquest of Gyeongsang, and our armies were victorious. What decided the war was the Battle of Gyeongsang, where 20,000 Scandinavians fought the 19,000 strong Korean army, led by Hyun I Kim, who lost most of their forces. The successful Scandinavian conquest of Danzig lasted for 3 years. Historians talk about how the Hungarians fought the Austrians in the Battle of Ostmarch, led by the Hungarian Sebastiano Balbo, suffered some losses fighting the 112,000 strong men Austrian army led by Johann Karl I, who suffered some losses. The brutal Scandinavian conquest of Etchu ended after 3 years, resulting in success. Historians talk about how the Spanish fought the English in the Battle of Gascony, led by the Spanish Juan de Hirilava, and almost unscathed fighting the 50,000 men strong English army, led by Joseph Warwick, who lost most of his forces. King Karl III struggled in the minor Moroccan reconquest of Sardinia, where our armies were competent. The most decisive battle of the war was when the 113,000 men led by the Ottoman Aurangzeb Osmanli suffered some losses attacking the 60,000 men strong Scandinavian army led by Hakon Ehrenstahel, who had some losses. On the 24th of February, 1699, the infidels of Munster embraced Flandrian faith, etc., 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 etc. Karl III followed the advice of the court to pass the Joint Stock Companies Act. Karl III decided to agricultural cultivation. Karl III wisely made the decision to pass the Heretico Comborino Act. During his reign, the provinces of Danzig, Neumark, Stade, Marches, Lincoln, Flores, Buru, Gangwon, Gyeongsang, Suo, Aikzin, Owari, Minu, Etchu, Suruga, Marienburg, Derby, and Alicnan were gained. The reign of Karl III saw the provinces of Guatemala, Petén, Belize, Zapotec, Campeche, Yucatan, Mixtec, Tohocapan, Tlalpanec, Tlaxcala, Tarixco, Mexico, Huastec, Sayuletex, Huicul, Zaticas, Guachichil, Tamaulipas, Sinaloa, Tepuan, Coahuila, Yaqui, Suma, Concho, Koshimi, Guayucura, Apache, Pueblo, Piro, Mascalaro, Lipan, Karankawa, Omaha, Dakota, Minnesota, Mandan, Chippewa, Minomi, Sauk, Labrador, Ungava, Nunavik, Cree, Salt, Etibiti, Moose Cree, Attawapiskat, Swampy Cree, Chippewayan, Ojibwa, Winnipeg, Atikaki, Manitoba, Woods Cree, Eriksfjord, and Vetsbyggen lost when we got the new thing that put all that in. Colonies. Yep. Christian IV, 23rd of December, 1743 to the 29th of May, 1761. The epic Scandinavian conquest of Warmia ended after 4 years, resulting in success. The most decisive battle of the war was when the 400,000 men, led by the Scandinavian Lajos II, suffered some losses attacking the 170,000 men strong Austrian army, led by Javier or Xavier de Dampierre, who suffered some losses. King Christian IV campaign and the epic Scandinavian crusade against Korea, and our armies were victorious. Historians talk about how the Scandinavians fought the Koreans in the Battle of Gyeonggi, led by the Scandinavian Olav Horn, were almost unscathed fighting the 14,000 men strong Korean army led by Do Chin, who lost most of their forces. Christian IV was diabolically attacked in the Scandinavian conquest of Oxfordshire. The most decisive battle of the war was when 16,000 men led by Scandinavian Olav Horn were almost unscathed, attacking the 56,000 men strong English army led by Nehemiah Proctor, who lost most of their forces. On the 11th of October 1751, the infidels of Warmia embraced the one true faith, etc. The reign of Christian IV saw the provinces of Memel, Ostprussen, Warmia, Orléans, Chungcheong, and Kamikawa gained. Karl IV Johann, 26th May 1761 to the 22nd of February 1814. The unsuccessful Scandinavian conquest of Oxfordshire lasted for 8 years. Historians talk about how the Scandinavians fought the English in the Battle of Gloucestershire. Led by the Scandinavian Olav Horn, were almost unscathed fighting the 56,000 men strong English army, led by Nehemiah Proctor, who lost most of their forces. King Karl IV Johann took part in the brutal Austrian-Scandinavian punitive war, and our armies were successful. Historians talk about how the Austrians fought the Savoyard in the Battle of Waldstadt, led by the Austrian Ferdinand Wenzel von Esterhazy, suffered some losses fighting the 81,000 men strong Savoyard army, led by Giovanni Ludovico Assinari, who suffered some losses. The triumphant Scandinavian conquest of Kexholm lasted 2 years. The most decisive battle of the war was when 37,000 men, led by the Scandinavian Olav Horn, were almost unscathed attacking the 2,000 men strong Finnish army, led by Josipia Taruin, who lost most of his forces. The brief Scandinavian-Spanish trade war ended after 5 years, resulting in conquest. The most decisive battle of the war was when 196,000 men led by the Scandinavian Alfred Umundsen suffered some losses attacking the 111,000 men strong Spanish army, who suffered some losses. The successful Danish-Louisianan War for independence lasted for 1 year. The most decisive battle of the war was when 16,000 men led by the Danish-Louisian Erik Ribbing suffered some losses attacking the 9,000 men strong Vinland army, led by Mikhail Povslan, who suffered some losses. King Karl IV Johann was involved in the epic Second Danish-Louisian War for Independence, and our armies were victorious. An important event of the war was the Battle of Oijaba, where the Danish forces, led by Erik Ribbing, attacked Pontus von Ascheberg and his Scandinavian forces. The 12,000 men strong Danish Louisianian army lost most of their forces when the 48,000 Scandinavian defenders were almost unscathed. On the 21st of December, 1768, the infidels of Sofia embraced the one true faith. Infidels. Reign of... here we go. Karl IV Johann decided to pass Recruiting Act. The reign of Karl IV Johann saw the provinces of Kexholm, Neva, München, Nuremberg, Picardy, Sofia, Elizabeth, Oberpfalz, Hanover, and Tosa gained. The unsuccessful Austrian reconquest of Nuremberg lasted for 4 years. The most decisive battle of the war was when 60,000 men led by the Neapolitan Nestor Castiavelli suffered some losses attacking the 49,000 men strong Scandinavian army, who suffered some losses. King Frederick II Frederick II is participated in the epic English reconquest of Lothian, and our armies were conquered. Historians talk about how the 13 colonians fought the Danish Mexico in the Battle of Appalachia, led by the 13 colonians Ernest York, who were almost unscathed fighting the 7,000 men strong Danish Mexican army, led by Mikhail Falkenskill, who lost most of their forces. Oh, what a long, strange trip it's been. Oh my god. That was something. Oh god. So, if you've made it this far, if you listened to the entire video, this is what we're gonna do. You are at like super fan level at this point if you listen to all this, because this is fucking stupid. I think it's awesome, but it's also like really kind of not. It's also like really, I don't know. I love it, but I don't. So, if you guys listened all the way to the end, type Karl Fourth Johann in the comments to prove to me that you did it. I'm gonna take my headphones back off. I'll just make sure the sound wasn't completely screwed up. Oh, that is the end, my friend, of our beautiful trip here. Thank you oh so much for watching. I'll see you around.